talk about where you've been
Yeah.
and your defining moments.
Well, you mentioned it about being a former basketball player. It's it's funny because I almost feel like I've lived different lives. Like that was a whole nother life ago, but that used to be my entire life.
Mm.
Um, I grew up in a family that is a basketball family. My mother played basketball. My father played basketball. I was introduced to the game at a young age and fell in love with the game. I knew I wanted to play in the NBA since I was 5 years old. My mom has saved like homework from when I was in elementary school where they would have us write, what we wanted to be when we grew up. And like, I was very clear about my intentions and about my dream at a very early age. And so even being able to look back at that homework that she saved, I'm like, man, I said this with such conviction. Like, I'm going to be an NBA player. And so, yeah, I mean, my whole life was centered around that. Growing up, I didn't go to, a lot of the parties that my friends went to because I was in the gym. Like, I was so obsessed with this dream that I had and working towards it. Was ranked as one of the top 50 best players in the country as early as the sixth grade. Was traveling around the country playing against the best of the best. And so the NBA wasn't really it wasn't a far-fetched dream for me. It seemed like it was very attainable, like it was just going to be the natural progression of my life. Played my college ball at the University of Houston, and I signed with the Sacramento Kings in 2009, which was a huge deal for me because I had an injury in college that they thought was career ending. So to be able to reach that dream that I had worked for since I was 5 years old was it was just such a surreal moment. I remember walking into the locker room and seeing that NBA jersey with my name on the back and what that meant to me. But 33 days after signing my first NBA contract, a teammate fell into my left knee, tore the articular cartilage in my left knee. I had 2 microfracture surgeries and my career was over with just like that. That's such a defining moment in my life where it was almost like this new life started when this other life ended. And it seems poetic now, like to look back and see the journey, but like in the moment, it was devastating.
How you are a testament to how important it is to be clear about what you want.
Mm, mm,
And something that I see amongst people who are able to achieve the thing that they set out to or to achieve their dreams is consistently
mm.
those folks are clear about what they want. You've created this movement, uh, a national movement amongst women and people who wear this bag. What has that kind of leadership meant to you? And was that your intention?
Well, I'll start with, was that my intention? And no, not initially. So everything that has happened with this community movement it happened naturally. It happened organically. I didn't expect it. I didn't know what to do with it. It wasn't a strategy. It really came from the product itself is something that changes people. And I hear this over and over. And the reason is because it like literally changes your physiology a little bit when you stop carrying a purse that's like kind of even a little bit like making you off center. And then there's also the mental capacity of like not having to worry about this thing that you're carrying around. And so it shifts you in multiple ways. And what I noticed is that people were so impacted by that shift that they were wanting to talk about it. Like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. And it seems like a small thing, like, oh, a handbag, a purse. But when you think about it, like for centuries, there has not been any innovation in the way that women carry things. And so it just did something to people where they wanted to connect. And so that was happening so naturally that I thought, okay, well, I need to create a container for that. So people aren't, reaching out to me, and they were trying to connect on our Facebook page and commenting on each other's things. And I'm like, all right, let me organize this a little bit because I think there's something to it. So that's really how it began. And then what it has meant to me is, this is going to sound like an exaggeration, but everything. because everything that the company has been through, and we have been through a lot, the only reason I've been able to get through it is because of the community.
I think the carrying the bag is such a metaphor for the experience that so many women have, right?
Yes.
Where things are one-sided and we feel burdened and we're trying to find a way to fill the other side and balance things out in some way. You're really curating the way that we see you and allowing us in. And I find that incredibly brave and unique and inspiring.
When you say that, I become very aware that my reason for operating that way is because of my sons. I recognize that how I live my life in the world and in the home is a model for them. And I want them to be able to be whole. I want them to be able to access and engage the entire spectrum of their emotion. I don't want them to be blocked off from one side, or I don't want them to feel like I am, I can only deal in the space of anger. I can only deal in the space of pain. I can only deal in the space of fear. I want them to be able to deal in the space of joy. And so I am very much thinking about the way that I exist in the world as a whole person. So I appreciate that's seen. You're a time traveler for sure.
Yeah. I had Joseph 3 weeks after my 18th birthday.
Wow.
And as you were talking about your sons and what you're doing and you're taking what I shared about what we see and explaining kind of what's beneath it, which is what you want your sons to see. I started thinking about my son Joseph, who in many, many ways has done the same thing. And I think a lot of men who are paying attention make this transition from wherever they were to understanding that it's them, that they are the model.